Hello, everyone. Darius Harris here, owner of Career Skyrocket. Welcome back to my Find Your Work series. And today I have a special guest, my uncle, who's more like my father, Arthur Ray. And he's going to kind of tell you more about what he does, but I've kind of witnessed his career firsthand. He's been making music before I was born, and he's an actor, been in several films, and he's done plays and things like that as well, along with teaching for many years as well. And the thing that I always admired about you, um, I call him Uncle Junior. You guys would probably call him Mr. Ray. But the thing that I always admired about you, Uncle, was that you love what you do. I can tell. I can feel it. It wasn't just like a job to you. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like you like this isn't work for you? It's more like a calling?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is, Darius. It's a ministry. And often tell coworkers, students, friends, family, I came to this planet to do exactly what it is that I'm doing right now. And once you are walking in your ministry, you will find that many of the obstacles and challenges that individuals experience in the workplace
Mm-hmm.
become distractions and noise,
Mm-hmm.
basically. For example, you mentioned that I'm an educator and I've been teaching drama and music now for well over 20 years. And this last past year with COVID, of course, we've all had challenges,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the education industry.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to keep your mind focused on what the goal is, what the prize is. I'm here for those kids. So everything else becomes noise. It's all about inspiring and educating your students. The fact is that a teacher really touches eternity because you never know who you're going to inspire, or and what I really like is you never know how you're going to inspire them. Sometimes you think you may inspire them because you've already planned out this grand lesson plan, but many times you'll have a teachable moment that'll come from out of nowhere,
Huh.
will lead you in a whole nother direction. And that's exactly what that kid needed to hear that day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you've been like on your path and like doing what you are doing now for a long time. Was there ever a time where you weren't fulfilled in your career?
Yeah, there were some times that I really wasn't reaching the goals that I would like to reach because I had personal challenges in my life, which I'm sure many people do. But the important thing about any challenge that you meet is to realize that it is an opportunity for your growth.
Mm.
A challenge comes to help you grow. It all depends upon how you meet that challenge. I think there's so many individuals who have lost it because they weren't able to visualize the challenge as being an opportunity
Right.
for them to grow.
Right. I love that. So can you tell me like how did you find your path? Like you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time now. Like what how would you describe like your path of like getting to where you are now where you're happy, you're fulfilled in your career?
I think it really has to do with what inspires you, and I think individuals know their inspiration. You know what it is that turns you on. It's like this is something I really want to do. For me, it started as a child. I
Right.
came here doing what it is that I do. For example, I remember when I was a real young kid, my great grandmother, which would have been your great grandmother, had an old upright piano in the living room. And this was during the 60s, like during the mid to late 60s. And at that time, they had the radio on. In those days, Darius, they had only two radio stations that catered to African American
Oh man.
and it was like WJLB, which used to be on AM. It was 1400 AM at the time. And I think the other one was WCHB. But anyway, my mom or dad or someone had the radio on and they were playing this song that was by a Motown artist.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Temptations or something. And so I was playing this song on the piano as the radio was playing. And my mom was like, wait a minute, turn the radio down. He's playing that. And I'm like, what? I did not realize that I was doing something that everybody else couldn't do. I
Right.
thought everybody else could do that. Boy, when I found out I was special,
Right.
that I was doing something that people couldn't do, wow, that was important to me. Needless to say, I had all the little girlfriends in elementary school. I had all the kids because I could play the piano.
Right.
But more than just being able to play the piano, playing the piano is what turned me on. It inspired me. It caused me to be hot. So many of the times my brother, your father, would be outside playing or whatever, and I would be on the piano.
Right.
I'm like, Junior, don't you want to come outside? No, I didn't want to come outside because I was doing what it was that I wanted to do. So now I remember another time when I was a kid and I was in elementary school, and there was a show called A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the elementary school used to go from kindergarten through sixth grade. And there was a sixth grader who had the lead part of Ebenezer Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
And he could not remember his lines. I was in fourth grade. I knew everybody's line. I knew everybody's because I was passionate about theater. I knew his line. I knew what the director was supposed to do. I knew everybody's line. And so eventually, the director gave me the role as the leading character in fourth grade. And to this day, when I go to my old neighborhood and I see people that were around when I was a kid, and they still call me Scrooge.
Oh man.
After and now we talking, that was like 50 years ago.
Right.
And they still call me Scrooge. And I still remember that show, and they still remember it because it inspired me. And there was a lady that came up to the stage after the show was over, and she said to me, Arthur Ray, today, Harris School, tomorrow, the world.
Right.
I took off in a rocket at that moment. And I knew in fourth grade what it was that I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And ever since then, I've been on this journey in some way or another.
That's awesome. So, whoa, that's such a powerful story. So, I meet people all the time and they tell me they had things and ideas and gifts in them that they kind of recognize as a kid. But I would say 90% of those people aren't doing those things. They're doing something different. So, why do you feel like people veer away from those things that kind of brought them joy and happiness as kids?
I think it's all about your thinking. I mean, there's going to be many distractions that's going to come on this life path. But once you focus on the prize back in the 60s during the civil rights movement, the saying was keep your eyes on the prize. Mm-hmm. And then once you focus on the prize, you try, you work, you endeavor, you do whatever you have to do to stay focused. Mm-hmm. And focusing has to do with your thinking. When you change the way you look at things, mm-hmm. the things you look at change.
Right.
So when you are looking at a prize you're trying to reach and you view obstacles in the way, like I said earlier, you have to view those obstacles as opportunities. And then you also have to be very careful about how long you dwell thinking on obstacles, because the things that you think about expand. The
Right.
stuff that you focus on expand, it grows just like a seed. If you took a seed in your backyard and you put it in the ground and you cared for it and you watered it and made sure it had some, it's going to grow. But
Right.
if you ignore it,
Mm-hmm.
don't give it what it needs, it's not going to grow. Well, it's
Right.
the same thing. When you focus on obstacles, you're growing that seed. So you have to be very careful of what you think about.
Right. That's awesome. That kind of goes with a lot of training I've had on mindfulness and some brain-based coaching. They talk about like what you focus on grows. And there's this famous video out there that's called Your Brain Has a Delete Button. And it talks about how your brain goes in and it deletes things every day. But the things that it focuses on to delete are the things that you don't focus on. So the things you focus on, it keep, right? So if, like you
Absolutely.
said, if you're focused
Mhm.
on like negativity and obstacles and things like that, that's what's gonna stay in your brain. And the things that
Absolutely.
you're not focused on, which is your goals, where you want to be, it kind of goes by the wayside pretty much.
And then the opposite is true.
Hmm.
So when you begin to focus on your goals and where you want to be,
Right,
and you are laser focused on reaching your goal, then your thoughts will begin to create that reality exponentially.
right,
And you will find that the universe will conspire with you
right,
to help you to reach the goals that you've already set in your mind.
right.
People will show up out of nowhere. People will here's a perfect example. So right now at work,
Uh-huh.
I'm working. This is like a COVID based school year. And so ordinarily at the end of the year around Christmas, I do a big stage production. In fact, we did one year a few years ago. That was more than a few years ago. Tanith, your wife, wrote the scripts for.
Yeah.
Well, this year, because of COVID, instead of doing a stage production, I'm making a short film with the kids. So
Yeah.
I'm turning them into movie stars,
Right.
and they are extraordinarily excited.
Huh.
So this one kid who was the co-star, like a big major role in the film,
Mm-hmm.
I found out on Monday, walked into the office, and the secretary says to me, Mr. Ray, he's not going to be back. So I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he got COVID. I don't know what happened. All I know is I was hit with this kid is not going to be back. And
Right.
our filming session ends in 2 weeks. The show premieres on December 7th. So I'm walking down the hallway and I'm saying to myself, what am I going to do? This kid has like a huge role in the film. As I'm walking down the hallway, this high schooler says to me, are you Mr. Ray? I said, yeah. He said, you the drama teacher? I said, yeah. He said, why don't why doesn't the high school have drama? I said, I'm not sure about that, but high schoolers are always welcome to audition for the shows. He said, I'm so interested in the show. I said, you know what? I got a part for you. I got a part for you. I said, why don't you come in my office? So he came in the office. I gave him the script. Darius, this guy read the script as if it was made for him.
Oh
He
my.
learned those lines in 5 minutes. I recorded him the next day and re-recorded all of the other parts that the other guy was doing with him. And now we got it all in the can.
Right.
That's just a perfect example of how the universe will conspire with you to
Right.
make sure that if you stay focused, to make sure that those dreams and goals come to fruition.
I love that. I love that. So next question I have for you is, do you ever find it hard to like turn off your work?
Um, because it's not work, it's like it can't turn on or off
Yeah.
because it's it's me. I am living this. I am living this. So when I come home, some people say, you know, you need to leave the office at you need to leave the office at work. Well, it's kind of difficult for me to leave the office at work because the office
You.
is in me. The
Right.
office is in me. You know, I am a Christian, and
Right.
so in church we talk about going to church and being in the church building as opposed to the church being in you.
Yeah.
So if the church is in you, then that means you can have church wherever you are because
Right.
you carry the church with you. So as far as turning over, probably not. I usually take a respite.
Right.
I'll
Right.
take a respite and say, okay, I'm gonna look at this movie right now. Or and then even then I'm looking at the movie and I'm like, oh yeah, I can use this part in the show.
Right.
Oh yeah, or I'll hear something somewhere along the line. I'm saying, this is the song we need to do in church on Sunday. I'm
Yeah.
just constantly open to inspiration. It's like a little ant with his antennae up. You're feeling things that's coming to you from the atmosphere.
I hear you. I had the same problem. I usually I keep my little phone and I have a little app on there and I have all these ideas that are constantly coming to me. And if I don't get it out of my mind, it'll drive me crazy. So I got a little app on there. I just kind of put all my notes in there and then it goes away. But then 10 minutes later, it's more ideas. I'm thinking about kids I'm working with and people I'm working with and how can I get better? And so I hear you.
Yep.
Another question.
The app thing is very cool
Ah,
because many times if I have ideas, I have it right now. I have an app called Notepad.
notepad.
And so I'm just constantly writing things down because if I depend upon this app,
Yeah, yeah.
sometime I won't be able to recall it.
Same here. Same here. So, are there things that you don't like about your work? Like you do a lot of different things. Are there things that you may not want to do as much?
There's always things in your job that you're going to find that are less attractive than those things that inspire you. But you have to ask yourself this question: are you going to work here? I mean, this is the job. I hear teachers coming to me all the time. They have all kinds of issues. I'm like, if you're going to do this job, this comes with job. Unfortunately, we live on planet Earth. This is not heaven. So
Right,
everything is not perfect.
right,
There's going to be some challenges wherever you go. So if you decide, well, I'm going to leave job because I'm tired of this crap and I'm not dealing with it anymore. When you get to that other job,
right,
you're going to find that there's crap over there too
right,
because we live on planet Earth. This is not heaven at all. So
right.
if you can find a place where you can actualize a great majority of that you are inspired by, and
Hmm.
I suggest that people try to stick and stay.
Right,
Sometimes it's time to move. The time to move is when you find that you're not actualizing the great majority of what
right,
you're inspired by. But never look for 100%
right.
because 100% does not exist. My grandmother used to tell me when I was a kid, everybody says the grass is greener on the other side, but the grass only looks greener because you on this side. And as soon as you cross the fence and get close enough, you're gonna see, oh, there's some weeds over here too.
That is hilarious. That's a good one. I never heard that before. So, last question for you is what advice would you give to someone who's kind of struggling in their career and they kind of hate the work that they do?
Well, the important thing is to find what makes you on fire, to find what you love. And once you've identified that, then you need to be about your business to reaching that goal because we're all here for a finite amount of time. And once you've identified, I mean, I have friends who love fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend, a guy friend of mine. He loves fishing. He would fish all day, all night long. Even at night, he carries a light and fish. To me, fishing is the most boringest thing on earth. To
Same.
me, you're sitting on the side of the river with a pole and a string with a worm on it, waiting for a fish to come by. Now, that's my explanation of what
Right.
that is. Him is totally different. So once he's found
Huh.
or anyone finds what it is that inspires you, then you should run after your dreams. Run after your dreams. So I suggest don't give up no matter what happens. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. You may not feel like you're where you should be, but
Mm.
trust me, you are where you should be. Because if you weren't, then you would not be there. This is where you are at this particular time. Now, perhaps you can go further places, but
Mhm.
if you look at where you are in the present, that's what you have to deal with. Where are you right now? Don't judge it based upon where you were yesterday, because yesterday's gone. Don't judge it based upon, I want to be here tomorrow. Make today what you want it to be.
Got it.
Make the present what you want it to be. There's an old saying that says,
Hmm.
yesterday is history,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Oh man, that's powerful. That's so powerful. Well, thank you so much. This has been like a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see you and be in your presence. I think the information you gave is definitely going to inspire some people to kind of chase their dreams and find their work, find their passion, their gift, their life's assignment. So keep doing great things, and thank you again.
Well, let me just tell you how much I am inspired by you,
Oh,
my nephew slash son. I have seen you overcome insurmountable challenges, and being an African American young boy and now an African American young man, society has already prescribed our future for us. And you stubbornly have remained yourself, fought against that, and achieved the goals that you've been striving for. And there's so many more in the future that I'm sure you will reach. So I'm very, very inspired by you and proud of you. A lot of old people feel like they can't be inspired by young people. Well, if that's a problem, then that is a problem. So I'm very inspired by you and encouraged by what you're doing. Anything I can do to ever help, I'm always there. I'm just a phone call away.
thank you so much. Thank you.